Hello and welcome to the Rainy Night Listens podcast. I'm Hailey.
And I'm Wyatt, and this is the podcast that you save for a rainy night instead of a rainy day.
Alrighty, today we are going to be talking about the cult known as Heaven's Gate. Have you ever heard of this cult before?
I've heard the name, but I haven't read about it.
Well, as I'm sure you can tell by it being a cult, it's
gonna be
bonkers.
fun.
Yeah.
There might be some Kool-Aid.
Close. Applesauce.
Oh.
This story begins with two people, Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles.
Like that.
Bro, this is from their, introduction video.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad, I guess.
Marshall Applewhite was born in 1931 and grew up in Spur, Texas. His father was a Presbyterian minister, so growing up he was pretty religious. He graduated high school and went on to attend the Union Presbyterian Seminary, where he studied theology in the hopes of becoming a minister.
What's Presbyterianism?
It's just like a different form of, a different type of religion.
Okay.
They're just called, it's the Presbyterian religion.
Okay. Gotcha.
He left this school shortly afterwards and decided to pursue music and became the music director of a Presbyterian church. During this time, he got married and eventually had 2 children. He was drafted into the Army in 1954 and served until 1956. After leaving the Army, he pursued and obtained his master's degree in music. Around 1965, he lost his job teaching at a university due to him pursuing a romantic relationship with one of his male students.
Oh, good for him, I guess. Not good for. Let's stress. Teachers shouldn't have relationships with their students.
Yeah. Shortly after this, he and his wife separated and later divorced because he... Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. He found another position in Houston, where he served as the chair of the music department at the University of St. Thomas, choral director of an Episcopal church, and also performed with the Houston Grand Opera. So this dude was a pretty well-known singer within his field. Yeah. He resigned in 1970, stating that he was leaving due to depression, and he moved to New Mexico and opened a deli. And he ran the deli for a very short period of time before moving back to Texas.
I wish I had enough money to just move to Mexico and open a deli and then decide, you know what, I don't want to run a deli anymore, and then close it and go to Texas.
Right? You know what?
It's a lot of money.
I'm not feeling it. I'm going to move again.
Yeah, I'm going to move again.
Yeah. Bonnie Nettles was born in 1927 in Houston. She grew up in a Baptist family, but left the religion once she became an adult. She became a registered nurse, and in 1949 got married and eventually went on to have 4 children. Bonnie spent her free time studying astrology and the occult. It's a good start.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I can see where this is going.
Right. In 1972, Bonnie began performing seances and attempted to contact the dead. She claimed that she frequently spoke with a deceased monk from the 19th century called Brother Francis, and she even wrote an astrology column for a newspaper where she talked about insights he had provided to her. She also began visiting fortune tellers who told her that she was going to meet a mysterious man soon.
Oh no. This mysterious man happened to be really rich, worked in Mexico for a while, and then moved to Texas by chance.
How did you know? That mysterious man just happened to be Marshall Applewhite. It isn't super clear how these two officially met, But when they did meet, they claimed that it felt as though they had known one another for a long time, and they believed that they had known each other even in a former life.
Huh.
Bonnie even told Marshall that their meeting had been foretold to her by extraterrestrials.
I thought she went and talked to fortune tellers, but
You know.
she's communicated with the dead and
Extraterrestrials.
She's completed a lot
All
with
of
her
them.
life.
She's talked to everything and everyone.
Yeah, let's be honest. She knows what she's doing.
She knows what's up.
Yeah, she knows what's up, okay? She knows a guy who's extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
And a guy who's currently dead.
Brother Francis.
Yeah, Brother Francis.
Bonnie and her husband soon divorced, and he took their 4 kids with him.
Oh.
She and Marshall Applewhite moved in together, but they reportedly only had a platonic relationship.
Uh-huh.
Both of them broke off all contact with their families and spent all of their time together reading the Bible and science fiction. They came to believe that they had been sent to fulfill prophecies from the Bible, and even wrote a pamphlet about Jesus being reincarnated as a Texan man, aka Marshall Applewhite.
Oh my gosh.
They also began visiting different churches and spiritual groups to talk about their, quote, true identities, and would refer to themselves as the Two and the UFO Two.
Wait, so if he was a reincarnation of Jesus, what was who was her reincarnation?
So they started by saying that he was a reincarnated form of Jesus, and then they went off and said that he was like a direct descendant of Jesus, or directly like related to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that they finally settled on these two were like the reincarnated spirits of some alien life forms that were sent here to help people achieve their next level of evolution.
I wish I was capable of this level of self-gaslighting. Like, I wish I could tell myself, nah, you are actually just...
You are the most important thing to happen to planet Earth.
Yeah, you could walk into a room and the whole room will worship you one day.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you're so right. You're so right.
It's so
I can't
insane.
do it. I wish I could do it. I just can't. I really wish I could.
Right?
Like, man, I would talk yourself into being a go-getter, like go accomplish things, but...
You know what? I'm going to be a cult leader.
You know what?
Like, it's
I'm
such
going to
a
lead
crazy
people into the
thing.
new age.
Yeah.
Single-handedly.
It's
Okay, not single-handedly. With my...
double-handedly.
Yeah, with my partner, who is also wow, my brain just blanked.
Who is also a leader among man.
Yeah, a leader among men and women.
They frequently spoke about what they called the demonstration, which they stated would consist of them being killed and then resurrected in front of other people, and then they would be transported onto a spaceship. Strangely enough, not a lot of religious groups liked their ideas very much.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I couldn't comprehend. I mean, everything they're saying is well within bounds and allowed.
Yeah.
Not at all an affront to any religion whatsoever.
No. Well, and I can't imagine that them talking about... They called them, like, Luciferians. And they were different, like, extraterrestrial beings that were put on the planet.
They called themselves Luciferians?
No, they called, like, the bad guys the Luciferians.
Like other religions.
They said that there were a bunch of false prophets who were Luciferians.
That's crazy.
And anyone who tried to lead people astray were Luciferians.
Well, I'll give them this. They're really good at advertising. Like, they were coming up with titles. They were like, they did a lot, I will admit. Like, I feel like What? Yeah, in order to become a cult leader, you have to be like ridiculously charismatic. And
Yeah.
this dude was putting titles to things that didn't need titles. He labeled himself and his lady as the Two,
The UFO 2.
calling religious individuals false prophets and Luciferians.
Yeah.
That's you know what I mean, they were doing some work.
Yeah,
It
dude.
wasn't God's work, I imagine, but they were doing some work.
You know, it was some work.
It was work nonetheless.
It was work
You have
for
to give
sure.
them that. They were doing some work.
Well, in May of 1974, they gained their first follower by the name of Sharon Morgan. Can you imagine being the sole
In
follower?
the history books, you were recognized as the first follower of these two individuals.
Like, you're like, you know what? I'm convinced. I'm convinced you two are extraterrestrials.
I'm convinced that
I'm
watched
gonna come
you die
join
and get
your
abducted.
cult. And then you look around and it's only you and them.
Yeah, that's where the Kool-Aid bowls. They're like, all right, I'm not drinking that.
Yeah, like, no thanks. I'm good.
I want to at least get like 2 other people, not just me, man.
Please. Sharon left her family behind, so
Oh my
her
gosh.
husband and her children, and while following Bonnie and Marshall, allowed them to use her credit cards
Oh, of
and
course.
all of that fun stuff.
There's a lot of children abandonment going on in this story.
For real. About a month later, she left the cult and returned to her family, where they filed a police report against Bonnie and Marshall for credit card fraud. The charges were dropped because Sharon Morgan had consented to them, like, allowing them to use her credit cards.
That's crazy.
But Marshall still went to jail for 6 months because he had stolen a rental car and hadn't returned it, and it was the one that he was driving whenever the police showed up.
You'd think that the further descendants of Jesus may not be using a rental car
They wouldn't have
that
to
they
steal
haven't
a
paid
rental
for.
car. And it's funny you should talk about advertising.
Oh.
Because after he got out of jail, the UFO 2 began posting meetings and using advertising to gain followers so that they could contact extraterrestrials. The people they began recruiting were simply referred to as the crew. And during these meetings, they would tell potential new recruits that they were actually from a different planet and that the point of their group was to help themselves and others achieve their next evolutionary level. In 1975, Bonnie and Marshall sold all of their belongings and hosted a meeting at a motel in Oregon where around 20 people joined them and ended up leaving.
All 20 of them? Wow.
Which it was like a big enough group of people that just suddenly disappeared that it was being talked about in media outlets and stuff because their families were like, where the frick did our person go?
Yeah.
Because they cut off all ties, they just dropped everything and left, and so they didn't know if they were taken of their own free will or if they had been like kidnapped or abducted. I guess they aren't children, but abducted.
But they all left and went back to their families, right? Wait, when you say they left, they just disappeared. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they left and followed Bonnie and Marshall.
Oh, I thought you said they had the meeting with Bonnie and Marshall and then just like left the meeting like, oh, we don't like what you're selling. And left.
Sorry, my bad.
They
they followed
colted
them.
their way into the woods.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes more sense.
So overall at this point, they had amassed nearly 100 followers, and they now referred to themselves as T and Doe.
T and Doe?
Yep.
What does that stand for?
It was just their extraterrestrial names. They also would sometimes refer to themselves as Bo and Peep. You know, cult stuff.
It's not cult stuff. They were just like really confident with their naming. Like I said, all it takes is charisma, and they were just so dang confident in all of their actions. It seems like.
Hmm.
And people are like, you know what? You cannot be that confident and be wrong.
So they moved around with their group and they moved around the country, sleeping in tents, begging for money and food, and all the while trying to get more people to join their group.
Join a group of homeless people.
Yeah. They changed names of their group multiple times throughout this point in time. At one point it was known as HIM, which stood for Human Individual Metamorphosis, Higher Source, and then Heaven's Gate.
Mm. You
And
know,
now,
well, third time's the charm.
yeah, you get there eventually. It is time for Hagen's historical word of the day.
Hagen. 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 Hagen.
Modern.
Ooh, I
Ah,
like that word.
modern. You heard it
Modern.
here first, folks.
What is modern?
What isn't modern?
Who is modern?
What was modern?
When is modern? I'll do you one better. Why is modern?
Why is modern? In 1976, they laid out a set of strict rules that included any member who joined had to be at least 18 years old. They could not be sexually active in any form. So no dating, no kissing, no holding hands, nothing. Every member had to carry a $5 bill and a roll of quarters with them.
Yeah?
Cult stuff. They had to sever all ties with any family or friends they had prior to joining the group. And they had to give up all possessions they had.
So is this like the cult that set the stereotype for cults? Because I feel like the stereotypes always give up all your worldly possessions. Give us all your money. And stuff like that. Were they the ones that set that stereotype?
No, there were other cults that had been going on. I think that this one is just one of the most famous ones that happened in the US. And so everything that they were doing it because Bonnie and Marshall, aka Doe and T, aka Bo and Peeve, were telling them that it's what they had to do in order to achieve the next level. And so they had to give up all things worldly because you wouldn't need that if whenever you ascended to the next level.
Yeah.
Their sleep schedules, eating schedules, and bathing schedules were also strictly controlled. Multiple male members of the group even went so far as to have themselves castrated in order to prove their devotion, including Marshall Applewhite.
That's insane.
They initially had attempted to have a member of the group perform the castrations, but it resulted in one of the men almost dying, and someone ended up leaving the group because of it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So they decided to go to the hospital for the other castrations that were performed.
Guess we'll go to a professional and not just Mike from around the corner.
I guess Susan can't just cut my balls open.
Come on, you got scissors. What else do you need?
Yeah, you don't really need anything else. Prove your devotion.
Prove your devotion. Do this correctly.
Members also had to give up any form of gender or sexuality. They all had their hair cut short into kind of bowl cut styles, and they would all wear baggy clothing so that they all appeared as androgynous as possible.
That's crazy.
The group believed in the ancient astronaut hypothesis. They believed
astronaut.
They believed that, quote, aliens planted the seeds of current humanity millions of years ago and have come to reap the harvest of their work in the form of spiritually evolved individuals who will join the ranks of flying saucer crews. Only a select few members of humanity will be chosen to advance, and the rest will be left to wallow in the spiritually poisoned atmosphere of a corrupt world. The new recruits were also told that they had to be both biologically and chemically transformed into extraterrestrial beings. And once they had achieved this, they would then be transported onto a spaceship that would take them to heaven or the next level. They held the belief that this could be achieved while one was still alive until 1985, when Bonnie Nettles passed away from cancer. Members of the group began questioning the belief system after this, because she passed away and you were supposed to achieve the next
While
level.
alive. Yeah.
So the doctrine was quickly changed to say that in order to achieve the next level, one's consciousness could leave its earthly vehicle and be transported to the spaceship that would take them to the next level. So they hurried and fixed that real quick.
Yeah, no, Bonnie made it.
Yeah, no, Bonnie, she just left her earthly vehicle behind.
Yeah, she made it.
And she's up there waiting for us.
Don't leave. She made it.
Yeah.
She made it.
She did it.
Her consciousness made it. Don't leave.
Don't question me. She did it.
I know what I'm doing. She made it.
T made it.
Peep made it.
So, there were 4 specific ways in which a follower could achieve the next level.
Death.
One could be physically picked up by a spaceship and then transferred to a next level body while aboard. So basically an alien rapture.
Yeah.
One could experience a natural death, accidental death, or death from random violence. And during these ones, consciousness would leave their body or vehicle behind and would gain their next level body. Outside persecution that led to death would also assist them in achieving the next level. And people think that this one was added after, Waco and Ruby Ridge and all of that stuff was going on. So they were scared of the government coming in and killing everybody.
Killing them, yeah.
Finally, the 4th way was the willful exit from the body in a dignified manner that would allow them to attain their next level form.
Cough, cough, suicide. Cough, cough.
I was gonna say, I think you can see where this is going.
Yes, I told you there's Kool-Aid.
Applesauce.
Is it actually applesauce? Are you messing with me?
In 1996...
Oh, no.
Ignore the people at the bottom. The cult rented out a mansion in Rancho Santa Fe, California, which they dubbed the Monastery. They then purchased alien abduction insurance, which would pay out $1 million per person in the event of them being abducted, impregnated, or killed by aliens. You know, cult stuff.
They were mixing and mashing so many different things, so many themes, so many different things together.
Yeah.
And then it was I don't know. There's a lot going on.
There's so much going on.
It's it's a lot to comprehend.
Yeah. In March of 1997, there were multiple reports called in of unidentified lights over Phoenix, Arizona. Also in March of that year, the Hale-Bopp comet made its closest approach to Earth and was visible with the naked eye. According to a video recorded by Marshall Applewhite called Doe's Final Exit, he stated that they believed the lights and the Hale-Bopp comet were the signs that Heaven's Gate had been waiting for in order to achieve the next level.
Like I said, really good at just... He's improvising on the spot, and he's doing it pretty good.
Yeah. So, warning. If you're watching this, there are some photos from inside of the mansion after the next events took place. So, if you don't want to see it, then that's totally fair, and you can just keep listening and don't watch or do whatever you need to, but just a warning. So, the 39 members that were present at the monastery filmed farewell videos. And then between March 22nd and March 23rd, the members dressed in matching black sweatpants and black shirts, put on matching black and white Nike Decades athletic shoes, and put on armbands patches that said Heaven's Gate Away Team. They then took lethal doses of phenobarbital, which is a sedative, and mixed it in applesauce, and then ate it, and then drank vodka. They then put plastic bags over their heads to ensure their process would be complete. The remaining members that were alive would then remove the plastic bags, arrange the arms of the deceased person at their sides, and would cover their faces and torsos with a purple piece of fabric. Marshall Applewhite was the third to last to go this way, and the two remaining members were found with the plastic bags still on their heads, and they didn't have the purple cloth on them because no one was left to...
Yeah, cover them.
Yeah. Other members of the cult who were not present during this time received packages in the mail that contained the uniforms, the tools, quote-unquote tools they would need in order to achieve the next level, farewell tapes, and letters letting them know that the main group had left their vehicles behind and had achieved the next level.
Oh my gosh. Here's your... I know you're not supposed to say, suicide on YouTube. It's like, here's your self-unalive kit.
Yeah. Like, literally. And so, over the next few months, multiple others who were either copycats or who had been former members of this cult ended up taking their own lives as well.
So, how many people?
It had listed 3 or 4 out. One of them was a copycat, and then the other ones, a couple of them had taken their lives the way that these guys had, and another one used a firearm. So multiple other people ended up going as well.
Gotcha.
After the fact.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And this was like one of the largest mass self-unalivings that's happened in U.S. history.
That's insane.
Yeah. So their website, before everyone performed these acts, they had changed it. So this is an actual screenshot that I just took off of their website that still shows this. They changed it to say, "Red alert, Hellbot brings closure to Heaven's Gate. As was promised, the keys to Heaven's Gate are here again in tea and dough, as they were in Jesus and his Father 2,000 years ago."
Huh.
And then they all did that, and the website is still reportedly run by 2 members who are still alive.
They just... what?
Yeah, that's the end of the Heaven's Gate cult.
There's 2 still active members alive right now.
Yeah, at least.
At least 2.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Not kind of. That is crazy.
It's insane.
Like, the original leaders of the cult are gone.
Yep.
And these people are just going to be like, well, once we get enough people on to replace us, applesauce.
Applesauce and vodka.
And vodka.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
But there you go. That's your UFO cult.
That's really crazy. I don't know how to feel about... I still don't know how to feel about this. Like,
right. I guess so Nike, because they were all wearing...
Yeah, I was going to say, did Nike sponsor mass unaliving? Self-unaliving?
I guess from what I could find, they really didn't say a word about it, but they discontinued that line of shoe very shortly after this had happened.
Really?
Yeah, and so people, you can like buy that brand of shoe. It's like stupid expensive online. People who have like actual pair, not from Heaven's Gate
Yeah.
members, but who had pairs. You can buy them for like a few $1,000s online. But yeah, Nike never really said anything about it, which I feel like is fair.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of handled it the best way they could have. Just kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, we're just going to not produce those anymore because we do not want to be associated with this.
Yeah, they were unfairly linked to a cult.
Yeah. But I guess that like some of the members would say just do it.
There's no way.
It. That's what it said. And so.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Poor Nike. CEO's like, why?
Why
What did
you
I do?
this?
Go to like Adidas or something, not us. That's crazy.
But yeah, there you go. Now you know that.
Now I know about Heaven's Gate.
Now you know. But that's all that we've got today. Feel free to let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Yes, and we also have an Apple Podcast account that we never advertise.
So yeah, feel free to, if you'd prefer just the sound version, feel free to jump on there and give us a follow. And find us on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. We're all over the place.
Oh yeah, everywhere you look, Radio Not listens.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
We're going to start using billboards soon. That's a lie. Kind of funny, though.
Bro's making stuff up. But yeah, until next time.
Bye.
Bye.